Hello folks and welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to focus on another popular race. It's one of the grinders. We're going to be dealing with the WT700 at Sarthe, Le Mans. It's a 30-minute race where it will rain. There are many cars you can use for this one, but what I've chosen tonight is my most preferred car, or the most remembered car from GT Gran Tourismo as a word. Ultimately, it's there behind us. It's the Zonda R09. It is the first real car I aspired to in the early versions of the game. So this is the one I wanted to win way back when, and I can happily say it performs very well. This race, as a grinder, is one of those that you could run either with Sardinia or Tokyo Expressway, where you can try to earn like 1,500 credits, sorry, 1.5 million credits per hour. If you run the race twice, this one you'll probably struggle to get twice within the hour, but it'll be 2 minutes over at most. But with that, let's get on to the race and talk you through it. Thank you very much, folks. We'll see you there.
So here we are, folks, just on our way to the 24 Hours of Le Mans, Circuit de la Sarthe. It's the World Touring Car 700, and the race is set up 6 times fuel, 10 times tyres, and it's a 30-minute race, and we start last on the grid, 20 out of 20. Usable tyres were all the racing types, including wets and intermediates, and that gives you a hint that there'll be rain, but they put that on everyone, so it's not really a hint. 700 pp or less, as we said. Nitro's prohibited. There's your prizes. The range of opponents are GR4. We're going to pick something slightly more beastie than that, as I told you in the intro. But car settings will be, and it's the Zonda R. It's absolutely gorgeous. We're just underneath the boundary there of 69977. You can see we're on racing hards, and as we go through this here, you can see that we've put no changes in the suspension or in the differential. We've put the fully customizable manual gearbox in, power output's down to 92, ballasts at 200, the maximum you can put in, and power restrictor on 70. So we're getting 70% of the 92% of the available power, which is 475 brake horsepower, which is a fair whack. We've done nothing else to the car though, nothing else whatsoever. No mods, no nothing. You can't do any aero mods. But with that being the case, let's get to the race. I was looking around my drink. There we go. And here we are at the circuit. Settings for the race, as always, folks. If you've been here before, you'll know what it is. Traction control 1, default ABS, everything else off. Now it's a 30-minute race. We've got no real view of what our friends have done in this. It's purely the races, and we see where we go against the computer. But ultimately, it's around about 4 minutes 30 a lap, and we've got 30 minutes. So we're going to do 7 laps if we're fast enough. The idea is that you don't do an 8th. If you're doing an 8th lap, you're going well quick, and you're taking far longer than you need to get on the grind. So with that being the case, let's make a crack and let's make a start. So immediately we're going to go to fuel 2, and then we will just understand where that is as we go around the lap. So we need to do 3 laps on the first stint. We know it's going to rain at some point. It's configured to rain here, and there are variations in the rain depending on which race you're on. And I say which race you're on. You can do it easy, medium, hard, or you can take any of the variations that the game throws at you. I've raced here in the wet, where it's wet all race. I've rained where it's dry all race. I've sometimes never had to use wets, but we'll just see where that is. Now we're heavy, we're fat, because we've added those 200 kilos. But I'd rather add weight than lose as much power as we had. Let's try and take this down the outside. We might get a penalty for cutting the track there, don't really know. Let's see how we do. 6th gear. Got to try and make this fuel last 3 laps, so let's just see where we are. Gonna talk your way through the lap in a couple of times. Let's just get ourselves into the race and see where we go. Mr. Gallo in the NSX, that's a regular thing. We'll get him out of the way. He's just held us up slightly. Let's have a look at him. There he goes. We've put him behind us. Looking for a braking point down there on the right hand side. We're 11 seconds behind the leader. We do have a little bit of a tailwind coming down here, so that's helpful today. Up into 6th. Let's just make sure we've got fuel consumption right. On the brakes just before that shadow, but we don't like using environmental braking markers. We need to use rigid, solid things because the sun moves and the shadows move, don't they? We're making good progress. I just think we need to tickle that down to 3 because we're not halfway through the lap yet, as I'm pretty sure you know. Just have a look behind. Yeah, we're good. Coming up against Mr. Hazal. Try and take him. We're just easy on the brakes. 2nd gear for this corner. Clip that apex, don't go too wide. Going to use his slip down here. As we come through the 2nd lap, we'll start to have a look at the weather gauge. The sky looks clear. This is where we'll normally encounter the first bit of rain at this corner on the 2nd lap. Look how much of the older fuel we've used. Just got to try and save a bit. We want to go a full 3 laps on this because we only want to stop twice. It'd be nice to stop once, but I don't think that's going to be a thing. I think we're going to have to go to 4 on the fuel. Let's go to 6 just to get us to the end of the lap, and we'll see what we do. Just have to, when we get to the pit at the end of the 3rd lap, we need to be somewhere near the front. 6 is keeping us on track. Look, the fuel's down to 2.2. Gonna pop that up to 5. Back it down to 4. Just now the biggest thing, if you're new to this game or if you're new to this circuit, do the circuit experiences. I've got a few videos on there that will help you with them. They'll just give you that understanding of how to get the car positioned right and how to drive this circuit. If you're anybody's anybody, you'll know this circuit because you'll understand what Le Mans, whatever you want to call it, however you want to say it, Circuit de la Sarthe. You'll understand what this circuit's about and you'll have some sort of knowledge. Oh, we've just overshot there, that's horrific. Wrong gear. There've been some slight variations to the circuit over the years. They're not major. There are 2 types of this circuit. There's the one with the no chicane, which you can get up some horrific speed down here. I'm just going to move the fuel up just to benefit from the straights. We're 10.8 seconds off the leader. Tyres are looking alright. I'm a firm believer that these tyres can go all the way to the end of the race. Now we've got rain coming in, there it is, top right hand corner. Just don't quite know how much rain we'll get in each race. Some black smoke there off one of the cars up front. Don't also know how quick it's going to come and how strong it's going to be, so you just got to keep an eye on that rain radar. I couldn't end up videoing this a few times if it all goes horrifically wrong. The AI opponents do tend to pit with some variation. There's a few strategies going on. Now last time I did this race, I did this with an equal class car. We did it in a Corvette C6, I think. And it was a very good race, I enjoyed it. Oh, and look at that. Look at that dirty swine. We get hit up the rear. That's the kind of nasty, pointed attack you get from the AI. And I know you all know what that's about. I know you all have had the same dirty dealings with these. I'll use a rude word, but I'm gonna go and get him. Just come off the rain gauge while I look at my fuel. I think we're about there for fuel. Back to the rain gauge. It's only a short span of rain, that look. It's like the leg of Italy coming across the screen. Front end's washing about a bit, the sky's gone a bit grey. We're gonna get another lap in here for sure. That orange beast is gonna suffer. We're alright, we're pacing ourselves here, we are. Here comes the rain, it's just gonna skit across us. The benefit of using this car is we're quite heavy and we're a little bit underpowered. We've got good downforce. We shouldn't suffer massive wheel spin and we shouldn't suffer massive slides, he says. But let's just drive within ourselves. We know we're on a game plan. We're 13 seconds behind the leader because of this Kawakami in front of us. There's our favourite fella, Yamanaka. Kawakami, I'm just going to give you a bit of a dose of, here you go. So let's talk about rain gauge, bottom left hand corner. It's telling us that inters are the primary tyre at this point of the race. I'm just going to get a penalty for that. I've just slid over that line caused by the water. We're through the other side. We've got a second penalty and we're in 4th place. A whole second penalty, that's never fun. So the rain's done. Let's have a look at the fuel. 0.8 of a lap, we're good there. So we know we're going to be dealing with this at the end of this lap and we'll be in 3rd hopefully. On the brakes. Just got to watch the slide in the rain. Now, as I say, do like this car. This is one of the cars I really did enjoy from very early in the game. It was one of the top cars from one of the very early GTs. I'd say GT1 because that was the first one I played, and I remember looking at it thinking, that's a beautiful car. I don't know if it was GT1. It could have been 4 maybe. I don't recall. I'm such an old man now. So we're just starting to eat into Mr. McEwen's lead. Mr. Portillo, which I'm pretty sure will be in a Viper. What I want to do is quickly switch back to the rain radar. We can see them ahead, they're kicking up some dirt. Yeah, that's the end of that rain cloud. So looking at this, the way it's feeling, we're pitting the end of this lap because we're going to need fuel. At this rate, I'm not going to change tyres. I'm going to keep the same tyres because we're running hards. Going to lift early for this corner, down to fourth. Braking on the edge of that shadow to second, coast through it because of the slip. And we've also got this penalty dispatch with, so we're going to lose another second or more on the leaders with 3 seconds ahead of Mr. Mendoza. So we're going to be okay. 0.2 fuel. I'm just going to back it off just a wee bit just to make sure we get there with no dramas. And not taking tyres will help us going in and out the pits. It'll just help us close that time down. Just change down a gear just to give us a little bit of control over traction. It says 0.1. We can go to 0.0 though without any stress here. Guys are into the pits taking fuel. We're good at this point, going to brake down for this little chicane. There we go, back end twitched a bit and we're good. We're not taking tyres and we're going to take fuel. Just going to have a little slurp, folks, whilst this goes in. Yeah, so everybody's come in the pits except for Mr. Hayward. The key thing, Mr. McEwen's now taking fuel, Portilla's taking fuel, and we're not in the pit garage yet. So the difference is the amount of fuel we take on when we're taking the lot. And we're going to try and run at 3 to start with. Hayward, Portilla, McEwen, here we go. Just over halfway through the race. Just tweak that fuel down to 3, up to 3 from 4. We're 18 seconds behind, so we lost time in the pit stop. We only lost time to Mr. Hayward, that's correct. So we're 10 seconds behind McEwen. Portilla overtook McEwen in the pits. And let's have a look at the rainwater, see if there's any coming. There is more rain coming. It looks like there's going to be a bit more rain this time. We'll make a decision as we get round to the pits because the rain will be on us by the looks of it. As I say, this race, the weather's dynamic. You get different rain each time you run it. Now Mr. Hayward was the guy we went door to door to in the first lap as we came down here. Rain's just starting to drop. Saw Mr. McEwen then the other side of the chicane as we entered. Very much more scattered rain this time round. we just need to drop to 4 on the fuel, just to make sure we just at half a lap at this point. Front end was wandering. Mr. McEwen has the fastest lap. We're going to hope to try and take that, I think. It would be nice to be able to. But with the way the weather's looking, that could be a challenge. We'll probably go through there a bit quicker, just a bit cautious of the conditions. Trying to drive myself, trying to drive within myself. But what I am feeling is that inwardly I'm feeling just a little bit nervous about what's going to happen here with this rain. It looks like we're just going to get splashes and dashes. We're not going to get an immense amount of heavy coverage. So I don't think there's any need to pit. We've just got to watch them. If they go in the pits, we've got an indicator of what's going to happen. As long as we don't get a lot of consistent rain, we can pretty much stay out and trust these racing slicks to give us all the grip we need. And Mr. Hayward's gone in the pits. That's a scheduled stop. So what will happen is that 17 seconds will reduce to something like 11.6, and that'll tell us we're somewhere about where we were before the pit stop. We haven't made any gains, but we need to. The rain's just splashing and dashing again. It's not doing much more. Mr. Hayward hasn't taken any fuel, so we are just running strong. Just flirting with the apexes of the corner there, just going marginally closer than I'd like to, getting a penalty. What I want to do is try and save a bit of fuel coming down here, but no rain real threatening. Right, we've got a little bit of fuel up. I'm going to give it some 1. I want to try and close that gap a little bit. Ideally, I'd like to have kept it in a particular. I'm going to go on fuel setting 2. We've got rain coming. Let's just see what that is. Just the one blotch of cloud, and then we're through it. They're just going into that first chicane. Just going to be cautious on the entry of the level of available grip. About the rain at the minute. Let's just see if we can close down that lead. Let's get a concerted bit on. Let's not save any fuel for now. Trust the track, trust the car. The only real lap we've got where we haven't got an in lap. We've got this in the next one, and we've got lap 7. We've got to take best part of 4 seconds out of them each lap, so I'm kind of expecting. So we've got 1.5 laps of fuel there, which is about on target. It just drops to 1.4, so I'm just going to back that off. What I want to do is get into 6th early, conserve a bit of juice by running the higher rev range. Now I'm pretty sure this race is well within the capability of this car. I know it's dodgy on, it's not dodgy on fuel, you just got to run a lower fuel mixture. You've got to be lean rather than rich. But I'm pretty sure we can make the time up here on these boys. Pretty sure we can. We've got another pit stop to do at the end of this present lap. Not this one, but the next one. So that's Mr. McEwen gone in. He did 3 laps, 2 laps, 2 laps, but I think he's going for tyres. There we are, 1 lap to go. And that's us with the fastest lap, so we've done enough to catch them there. You know me folks, you know I'm up for a good race rather than romping it home. I do like an easy win at the best of times, but I also like a bit of competition. We're in a well OP car here. This car has got so much power, so much speed, so much downforce. It'll romp these cars on an equal setting, but we're carrying a big penalty with all that weight. But it's got exceptional grip. It's a really balanced and set up car. If you can afford it, go buy it. And I can recommend this car just to make this grind a bit less painful. Because these are one of the tracks where you go and earn your credits if you want to go and collect all the cars. If you want to have credits available to buy what car you want to play the game, this is where you're at. So we're down to less than 2 seconds behind Mr. Portilla at this point. We've got a pit to go. We're good on fuel, we're kind of okay. Now at the pit, we intend to take just a little bit than a lap of fuel, because we're going to go up to fuel mixture 1 and we're going to absolutely thrape it. I just need to make sure we're going to get home, so we're just going to mark this guy down the straight. He can use his draft up to 6th. Just need to be at half a lap of fuel when we get down to this bottom corner. We don't actually need to be gassing it too hard. And if he wants to fight us through the apex, we will. Just close the door on him. Helicopter's got us. He can do whatever he likes from behind us. We're just a little bit off on fuel, so I'm going to drop it 1 more. Something you learn from this game is just how much fuel you need based on where you are on the circuit to get back to the pits. I think he's got the same problem though. Still setting the fastest lap, which we can't be really, because we are, because we're going into the pits, but we won't be able to set the fastest lap. But whilst we're going this quickly, we're doing alright up to 6th. Just coast along, use all that gas. He's coming back at us and we'll let him go if he wants to. We're pretty swish around there. We're good on fuel at this point. Just 2 seconds clear. We're marking time, he's behind us. Not going to change tyres, folks. Let's have a quick look at the rain radar. There's nothing on there, sun's coming out. And I was looking down, what an absolute nonce. That was a mistake on my part, wasn't it? Well, that gives us a challenge, doesn't it? We were sailing pretty then. I just needed to check the rain, he said. Well, no point. Nothing like setting up a photo finish. So not taking tyres, and we're going to take 1.2 laps of fuel. And I'm not happy with myself there. I'm just looking at Mr. Mendoza. Mr. Mendoza's come in. So it's Mr. Haywood, who didn't stop the last time round, who could run in to take the lead. Here we come. Nobody's taking fuel yet. We're on the fuel. We're on it and we're away. So's Yaman. Oh, we're out first. We've done it. So let's not forget, bottom far corner, end of the Mulsanne straight. We need to be at 0.5 fuel to get back to the start finish line with juice. We've got a 5-second lead. What we don't need to do is make any more glaring mistakes. Just going to back that fuel off. We don't need to be burning it. Oh, we've got it. Let's use it. Come on. So that's it. I don't mean that's it, I mean that's where we are. We're 8 seconds ahead last lap. The rain wasn't as significant as it could have been. We've used one set of tyres the whole race. We've had good grip. We've had one mistake by me that put us in a gravel trap, which was just so reminiscent of just what I am, just failing to concentrate, failing to do too much, failing to do not enough, which is just keep the car on the track. Can't be perfect, can it? I can't ever go in and put a perfect lap down. There we go, we're 10 seconds in the lead, we've got plenty of fuel. We're pulling away from the guys behind. Mr. McEwen seemed to mess that pit stop up. He's down in 5th. But in this car, this race is pretty steady. It's within the PP limit, so it's not really a cheat, but it's a good car to use. And we're going to do this in what? Round about the 30 minutes is just about to happen. Got fastest lap of the race at 4:14.757. That's it, the 30 minutes are up. So when we see the next end of lap, that's the final flag. Brake for this corner, Jim. Nice and early. It is a blend of brake and throttle lift round that corner. It's not always just brake in the corner and get on the gas. "12 seconds ahead as we come into the final chicane. Going to brake just halfway down a pit stop entrance, down 2 gears. Clip the first apex, clips to the second, then it's down to first gear for this one. over the curb, brushed the red one, gas down, 0.1 laps of fuel, should click to 0, 0. Oh, no it didn't, there we go, finished it. And there she is, beautiful little car. And there we have it. Another car to run your grind with at Le Mans. 31.06, which is a little bit slow. That first stint of it didn't really go as planned for me, I don't think, but doesn't have to be setting records. You're clicking that race through twice an hour roughly, because you could immediately jump back in that, and away you go. There she is, you chuck in 825k for that little win. And with that, folks, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. And we'll just skip through the replay. But as it is, there we go. There's the final bit. And we'll see you on the next one, folks. You take care. All the best now. Ta-ra.